everybody. This is Bobby Mills with theindependent.com with another version of In the Hoops. Today we're at Adams Central High School with the man himself, boys head basketball coach Zac Foster.
Hey.
Man, I've been chasing this guy for 20 years. No, not quite that long.
I'm excited.
I know. I'm so happy that you took
I'm
time.
a regular viewer, so I'm
Well,
excited.
thank you. I'm so happy. Yeah, it's been hard to hook up. You're a busy man, and your record shows it. So, how many years has it been here? I tried to figure last night, and I can't.
This is my 12th year here, 11th as head coach.
No.
Yeah.
My
first year I was Coach Select's assistant, and then we made the switch. So 11 years as head coach.
Wow.
Time flies.
No kidding. I'm checking back to see, well, let's see, did they win the Lou Platte tournament that year? You know, the Central Conference, and whoa, that's, time flies.
It does.
So, I know it, but where were you before you came to that? Well, you're only 29 years old, so you've been too many places.
I'm 43. I'll be 44 shortly. My first job was at Donovan Trumbull.
Yeah.
So I was Coach Rath's assistant for my first 3 years, and he's in a lot of ways, he's kind of my father figure in basketball and kind of off the floor as well. So then I was head coach for 6 years there, and my student title, Lincoln Northeast, and Coach Baugh was the head coach there. Like Jimmy Motes was a senior the year I was there, and but really I've only been in 2 schools, been in Donovan Trumbull and been here.
Well, I didn't think there was any I didn't know if you student taught anywhere. It would have been Northeast, huh?
It's kind of cool because I went to high school in Orleans, which is D2, Southern Valley now. So I've been D2, student taught at Class A, been B, C1, so I've kind of seen all different levels, and I think that's kind of invaluable too.
Well, it must be. Well, have you seen that new school down there at Southern Valley?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Ooh.
My wife actually was in the senior class, the first senior class.
Oh.
I was in the last class before it consolidated, so we were down there at that time.
Oh, man, that's just like an oasis out in the middle, and
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is. So, tell me about your staff. It seems to me they're the same people that have been here for a long time.
Well, our current staff has been together for 5 years.
Okay.
Coach Select has been here for 15. I've been here for 12. Coach Samuelson's been here for 7.
Okay.
Coach Cook, this is his 5th, and Coach Hunt has helped us for 6. And I really love our staff because just their background. You know, in high school when I played, we weren't very good, but every one of those other guys comes from elite bloodlines, if you will.
Oh,
Coach Selector was at Northeast in the heyday when they were unbelievable in the mid-'90s.
I didn't know that.
Coach Cook was from Wahoo, so obviously he knows about winning. Coach Samuelson's from Gretna. His brother Jared played North Dakota State recently. He was a player of the year in Nebraska, you know.
No kidding.
And then Coach Hunt is from here, and he had a lot of success. And I really think, I don't know who I heard say this, but if you have somebody on your staff that played at the school, that cares about that jersey, I think that means a lot. So Coach Hunt's invaluable as well to us.
Just seems like yesterday he was shooting threes, so I know how much this school means to him.
Yes.
And that's he doesn't need to bridge any gaps, does he?
No.
I mean, you guys all seem like you're kids anyway, but I mean, you're just the kids relate so well. So we are in a science room. Is that your gig, Zach?
Yeah, middle school science. When I was in Donovan, I did pretty much everything from physics and medical terminology and organic chemistry. And since I've come to AC, it's been 7th grade science and then honors freshman physical science. So really, really do like it. The middle school kids are kind of different, so am I. So it kind of works, you know.
Sure.
But really like it.
I didn't realize the middle school was connected here, but that makes good sense. And then that beautiful new grade school across the street. So now everything is just like a little city here. So
yeah, pretty much.
All right. So how great has it been to coach your son?
Well,
Cam, it's just, some people never want to talk about it, but it looks, and I don't see any. I mean, you can't see it balling like this, but I know there is, and it's just that you're very professional about everything.
It's hard, but it's been one of the best things ever. I mean, I remember when he was growing up, and I thought about it a lot because you always hear stories about things.
Oh, I know.
I asked Coach Bronick, a lot of stuff that we do in our program was kind of modeled after Ravenna. That's who we looked at. Especially when I was at Donovan, I was trying to figure out how to become better at this. I mean, that was the pinnacle of basketball in small school Nebraska for about 12 or 13 straight years.
Yep.
And I asked him, how do you do it? What advice do you have? And he just said, it's going to be some of the most challenging times you've ever had, but it's going to be some of the most rewarding times you've ever had.
Yeah.
And, we've had some tough times, but one of my favorite memories probably in coaching is when we were in the finals in 2016 and Cam was a 7th grade student manager and you're standing there at Pinnacle. And again, our program had never been to that point.
No.
and we're watching the pregame deal on the big screens and everything for announcements, and I just leaned over and I put my hand on his shoulder. I go, "Hey, we're in the state championship game," and we just looked at each other and kind of nodded, and it was just one of those moments that we'll have forever. And it's been really good. I've been really proud of him. To be honest, he's a lot tougher than I am, I think, and he's handled a lot of the stuff. There's a lot of pressure when you're a coach's kid, obviously, and he's handled it really, really well. I've been really proud of him.
Well, you should be, and he has been tough physically. How he came back from that injury in football, I'll never know. But he never missed any basketball either, did he?
No, he did actually.
Did he really?
So when we had our first game against Aurora, we only had 3 practices with everybody.
Oh, well, naturally, yeah.
And he probably shouldn't have played that game. So then the next 2 games after that, we sat him.
Okay.
And to be really honest, I mean, he doesn't have some of his bursts he had last year. His ankle's still not perfect, we're obviously really happy with the football run. And after he got hurt, he didn't play any defense. He just played offense. But
that's tough, though, boy.
Yeah.
I knew the thing had to be lingering. I couldn't tell by the time I got to see you guys, but on film. But so tell me about the current team. I mean, what a great bunch, man.
We're unbelievably blessed as coaches to get to work with these guys because they are a true team in every sense of the word. We say this as a joke to our kids, but it's an unbelievable compliment that 4 or 5 times in pregame this year we've looked at that team that we're playing and we looked at our team and we thought, man, we kind of look like a JV team athletically. And yet we're 19-1 because of the intangibles, of the unselfishness, of the love they have for playing together. And I just think it's a great example for our younger kids too that, there's a lot of things that matter that aren't measurables necessarily. Your height and your jumping ability and stuff like that. And these kids have worked a ton over the years for this moment. It's just really, really good to see them have success. As far as individuals, I mean, Tyler Selecta is a 3-year starter. He's probably I've said this repeatedly since his sophomore year. I think he's the best defender I've ever coached.
Oh.
And he's an elite competitor, just like his dad. I mean,
that's why they call him Tough Tommy Selecta.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're playing pitch or playing pickup basketball, Tom wants to win.
I know he does.
And Tyler's the same way. So great defender, and he's really improved this year offensively. He's really being aggressive, and he's our second leading scorer. Cam is in his second year starting. And him and T have played for 3 or 4 years now and just have a lot of experience. And it's cliche having coaches' kids, but it's nice having coaches' kids that have been in the locker room their whole life, And Cam's doing a nice job again. Lucas Bolin might be the most improved player, maybe in 10 counties, because
I'll second that one.
He had a nice junior year, but he has played at an unbelievably efficient clip this year. Last night he was 7 for 7 from 3 at one point. He just. Sports are beautiful in so many ways, and they give you lessons. That's why we all coach and love sports, right? And, he had some tough times last year and just put in the work this summer. Yeah. I mean, he really, really worked to improve. His body's better. He's put on muscle mass. Yeah. And he's just went to a new level. And so he's obviously having a great year. Dante Bolhauer is a kid that really is kind of unsung for us, kind of a slash point forward type kid that we kind of run some Princeton stuff, and he has the ball a lot in his hands. He's our second leading assist guy this year. Probably one of the best rebounders I've ever coached. I mean, he's only 6'1", but he's got springs, and he's got a motor, and he just goes after it. And, Gavin Leposki was pretty special in the 1-through-1 last year. But Dante's pretty dang good as well at the top. And then Jacob Eckhart's our 5th starter, and he's a kid that just is kind of a glue guy, really good defender, just kind of a tough kid, hits big shots. And the other kid that really plays a lot for us is Paul Fagot. And he's coming off the bench. He started some, gives us some length, some shooting ability. In the GICC game, he was gigantic in that situation. And so we got some other guys too, but those top 6 we really, really feel good about.
Yeah, and of course, poor Mr. Fagot, whose name I mispronounced at Hastings College that day. I told a lot of people when I saw him come in, I said, I hope they never leave him alone on the court because he'll kill you.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
And he is a good shooter and more than that. But I think Mr. Bolin, I'm really impressed with the way he's gotten better. I mean, he's just not a three-point shooter anymore. He's so much more than that.
Correct.
And it just typifies the whole bunch. A few years ago, I thought maybe Cam would have to carry this team, but not so.
Well, and again, you could go through any one of our kids, and the thing that makes us special is they truly don't care who's getting the individual.
Oh.
Like Tyler Selecta can have 20, and he can have 2 and not care. No. And, Cam coming into this year had a lot of preseason talk because of last year, and a lot of our other guys have gotten better. And Cam has just played and distributed and just been in the flow of the game. And so whether it's Tyler or Cam or Lucas or Dante or any of those guys, all of them sacrifice for each other. And it's really, really fun to be around as a coach when you have kids that will do that for each other.
No kidding. And the two, when you made the switch from the Lou Platte Conference to the Central Conference, now you have back-to-back tournament championships. That's a good conference, man.
Yeah, we feel really fortunate.
Jeez.
I mean, we've been in the conference 5 years. We've been in the final 3 of the 5 years.
That's what I thought.
The first year we came in, we made the finals when David Bolhauer was a senior.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were playing Austin Allen and Tommy Leniger and Henry Penner and Baylor Shireman, so we didn't win that one.
No, but that's all right.
But we were really happy to make it to the finals that year, and
Yeah.
the last 2 years we felt really good about it. We were the 1 seed, and on paper we were the favorite, but you never know how that goes. And to go on the road and beat Northwest at Northwest last year in an epic game that was unbelievable, where there's 27 made threes and back and forth.
Yeah.
And then this year to beat Aurora at Aurora, we do feel really good about being in championship situations and coming out on top.
Yep, and so that's the only 19 wins in a row after the opening season loss to Aurora. Now that's rectified. So, how'd the game go last night? This is Wednesday. You guys had to play last night against Hastings St. Cecilia. Is that well, I'm sure the crowd, man. I mean, that has to be a rivalry.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it means a lot to the people in the community. And St. Cecilia played really hard last night.
Good.
I mean, Lucas hit a 4-point play right at the end of the first quarter, and we were down 7-6, so that put us up, 10-7 or whatever it was, going to the second, and we kind of got springboarded from that play. But St. Cecilia really played hard the entire game. Coach Anuka does a nice job. His dad is a heck of coach at SCOTUS over the years,
They're so short, though. If they do have it, I mean, that's one drawback they have. They're kind of little, but they'll play hard. I'm sure. When I saw them, they did. How about the crowd? How many was that there?
It was at St. Cecilia.
Okay, so how many did they let in?
Well, both pass lists got in.
Was it 50?
And then they wanted to be at 50%, so then they had a whatever you want to call it to
Sure. Oh, yeah.
to figure out when the 50% number got hit, and then nobody else got in. But there was a lot of people in there, so it was a really good crowd, especially early when they were playing well. It was a fun atmosphere to be a part of.
Yeah, and so you don't have very many games left because it seems like you played 100 games so far, but that's this time of year. You have one. Is Hastings High here?
No, we actually moved it to Hastings College.
Oh, good move.
And it was one of those that we didn't want to lose a home game necessarily, but we also want to do what's right for the community. And so if we're playing here at 50% and you get 600 or 700 people, if we go to Hastings College, you get 1,200 people.
That's
and
right.
be at 50%. And so more students get in, more general public gets in.
Wow.
So we try to do what's right for the community. And again, for the kids. Because I'll never forget, I don't know if you were there, the game last year at Hastings High was one of the most special moments I've ever been a part of.
It was like unbelievable.
3,000 people. That gym was full, and it was so anything we can do for our kids and for Hastings High's kids to have a special environment, I think, is what we should do.
Yeah.
And that's why we made the decision to put it there this year with COVID numbers and everything. And then next year we'll have the home game. It'll come back here, but we're going over there to Hastings College, and obviously we have goals to play in big arenas at the end. So any chance we have to play in a big floor helps us as well, we think.
Sure, and that's a week from yesterday. It'd be next Tuesday.
Correct.
Wow, that's what kind of a guy this guy is, though. Give up a home game just to make it available. I mean, it makes good sense numbers wise, but you wouldn't think. I mean, nobody wants to give up a home game that easily. Nice going. No, I'm serious. That's
probably more Mr. Frank than me. He's a great AD, and he's always looking for those type of angles and how to be the best we can be. So that's a credit to Mr. Frank.
Top to bottom, I love this place, man. So tell me about your schedule. There's some crazy games on. You've been to or played at people from every part of the state, man.
Yeah.
Elkhorn North, Alliance, and I mean.
Yeah, we've been all over. I mean, we played Chase County, but we played in Coach Martinez's event here at the college. So we didn't have to travel to Imperial, but we played Chase County, we played Alliance, played O'Neill, Winnebago, Elkhorn North. And it's not by design necessarily. We've had 3 or 4 schools drop us that won't play us, and it's just one of those that's frustrating, but you can't make somebody play us. So then you got to go find games, and beggars can't be choosers. No. So when somebody says they'll play us, we got to go. And as of right now, we might be short 3 games for next year. So I'm hoping that Tino gets us back in some kind of event at Hastings College because we're going to need games.
I know that. And that trip up to Winnebago, that was a close game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they should have beat us. I mean, they really should have beat us. We did not play well. They had us on the ropes. I mean, I think it's one of those. And really, when we scheduled that game, I think, again, as educators, you try to make experiences for your kids that
There
are
you
important.
go, yeah.
And I think culturally, what a great opportunity for our program, to go and learn about other people. And unfortunately, with COVID, you really didn't get the full experience of going up there. But we have a lot of respect for Coach Barrage and his program. Coach Hunt played at Briarcliff when Coach LaPointe from Bago was there.
Yeah.
So there's a connection with the coaches as well. And so we have a lot of respect for those guys, and we're happy to get to play them.
Yeah, and when you're going up there, you're not playing in a 100-year-old facility.
Oh, it's
believe
beautiful.
me. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And they just write out a check and say, "Okay, Bert, here we go." So,
Yep.
great experience, I'm sure. So,
Yes.
yeah, and everybody else except for maybe Elkhorn North came within 9 or 8. It's been, double figures. That has to be gratifying, man.
Well, and I go back to what I said earlier about the physical thing. We're not Adonises walking around physically. I mean, we don't have a lot of size. We aren't the best jumpers, but our kids can play, and they understand how to play and use skill and use their brains to help them on the floor. And so, yeah, it has been gratifying because one of the best signs of a good team, I think, is that you show up and you handle your business and you respect the game, you respect your opponent, and you get after it. And that consistency and that competitiveness has really, really been there most of the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't noticed any difference. I was gonna ask you. This is gonna put you on the spot, maybe, because my son would kill me for asking you this anyway. Is it important for guys to go out for football to you? I mean, we don't want the season to last in 3 days, but is there everybody that you have on that basketball team? I don't think Bolin went out for football, did he?
No.
But almost everybody else did. It was excellent what they did, right?
Well, I mean, our program has been interesting over the years. It's kind of changed over the years. Like, the first team that I was head coach for that made the state tournament was Jake Fowler's year in 2013.
Yeah. Oh.
And they were football kids.
Yes,
and
they
were
were
big and they were strong. They could guard you. And then that run we had with David Boland's crew, there were some kids that didn't play football.
Right.
With our current team, Dante and Lucas and Paul didn't play football, but Cam and Tyler and Jake, those guys play. And then there's some of our other guys, that come off the bench: Sam Dirks, Hyatt Collins, Leighton Weber. They're all really important. Yeah. And I think as we go into next year, looking forward, the majority of our kids are football kids. And for me, I've always said this: like, you don't have to play football to be tough, but it helps.
It does help.
I mean, I think Lucas is tough as nails. He doesn't play football. You don't have to, but if you play, it's just different. I mean, I played 6-man football.
I bet you did. Yeah.
I was not very good, but it made me a much better basketball player. I know that. So if a kid's in between, I'm always going to encourage him to try to go out and try it. And if they try it and don't like it, so be it. I just think competing is important. If it's cross country, if it's tennis, whatever, just compete. The more you compete, I think the better you're going to be at whatever sport you're doing.
I don't think laying out helps much, does it?
No.
So, anyway, but a couple things before we close, because this has been great. What makes Adams Central the school that I hold in such high esteem? What it is, I've never seen a school like this where everybody is just so well spoken and it never changes. I'm sure it's just not me. But the kids are so polite and so proud of this place. Some places you don't get, but the consistency of the excellence that's expected but not really pounded in.
Well, I think
what's this? I mean, you feed them something out of here?
No. Every organization, I don't care if it's your family at home, if it's your job, whatever. You're only as good as the people there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The quality of your people dictate everything. And I think that, and I've only been here 12 years. I know it started way before I was here, but we just have really, really good people here. And when I left Doniphan, I had 2 job offers. One was here, and one was at Omaha Scott. I was going to be an assistant at Scott, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And somebody told me, they said Adams Central. They thought, this was their words, they thought Adams Central was the best public-private school in the state, because we are a public school, but we have many of the advantages that private schools do, namely our people. Our families are tremendous, and I've always, whether it's Central Catholic or, Kearney Catholic or GICC or Scott or anybody, I always think a strength of the private school system is their sense of unity and their sense of family and sacrificing for each other. And I think you have a lot of that here. You just do. You have people that, there was a saying that Mr. Barrett always had about the AC way. And the AC way is just having high standards and really trying to hold people to those high standards and saying, this or this or this might happen at some other school, but it doesn't happen here. There's a certain level of a certain way of doing things. And that's what I think our teachers get, and we just kind of keep trying to impress that upon our kids. And I think for the most part, our kids understand it, and they buy in, and they understand that we have high standards.
Well, it must be doing a great job, because no matter who I talk to, these young people here, whether it's a cheerleader or whether it's somebody in the hallway, they all act the same. They don't act like they have to do it. In fact, the private school thing you had sounded kind of funny, because I wrote down how many Centennial teams have been to state, and I started writing down Adams Central.
It's
because
amazing
it
how
seems
many.
like hey, they're private school.
It's amazing how many people from like Omaha, Lincoln, or just different areas aren't really familiar with this. Assume we were private school.
Not Northwest. It doesn't. It isn't the same.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm in town there, but this seems like a private school.
Well, and again, it goes back to family. Our families and our clientele, our people are just really, really good, and that makes our job a lot easier as educators.
And your teachers stay here a long time. It seems like.
Well, I mean, what I always talk about with what you just said is I remember our line with Coach K when the Lakers wanted him really bad. They were putting all the money out on the table when Kobe was still playing and everything, and he didn't leave Duke, and he said he's always believed you don't mess with happiness.
Oh.
If you're happy and you leave, there's no guarantee you're going to get that again.
That's exactly
so. If
right.
you're, and I think that happens with our teachers. If you get here and you're happy and you like what's happening, then there isn't a reason to leave.
I'm telling you, I don't know if I have, and I'm welcome everywhere I go. I'm blessed, but I don't know if I have run into a place like this with a consistent excellence of this. So you're lucky, not lucky to be here, but fortunate and blessed to be connected, and you're part of it, man. So. Well, there is one last question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between this team and maybe that 2016? I mean, other than you had a big presence inside, or did you back then?
Well, that was one of the big differences. I think we were bigger. Cale Plake was like an all-state defensive end guy. And
boy.
6'4", 220. He shot 44% from three. He could go inside out. And then Luke Goldenstein was a kid that really came on. And like in the state finals against Newman, he went 7 for 7, had 17 points, scored inside, scored outside. So we had two 6'4" kids that could stretch the floor, go inside and out, which is a little bit different than we have now. And I think the style defensively was different as well, because offensively we're pretty similar in some ways that we're pretty balanced and we all like to shoot it. But to get to the finals, we really played a lot of 2-3 that year. We got into a 2-3.
That's tough.
That year we played Central Catholic at Aurora to go to state. And we got pretty good at it by the end. It was the old John Miller, Southern Valley, 2-3 zone that we did.
Goodness gracious,
Yeah, I went to Southern Valley a couple times and just had a notepad and wrote everything he said, because that guy knows a couple things.
Genius, man.
So we played 2-3, so the game was a little bit different. Now we play a lot of 1-3-1. Coach Cook kind of brought that from Wahoo, and we've kind of bought into that the last 3 years. Has really, really helped us. So the style defensively is a little bit different, but I think offensively, pretty similar. The size, like you said, is a bit of a factor, but pretty similar teams. It's kind of fun to think about what would happen if those two could play each other.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. Because, when you were playing that 2-3 back when those guys were there, go ahead and try to get inside and see what happens to you. But now it's a lot of finesse and that. Who plays at the top of that 1-3-1? Is it
Dante?
Yeah, and boy, try to get past him.
Yeah, Cam plays a little bit when Dante goes out or goes to a different spot, but Dante's our main guy at the top.
You still have the guys jumping out. 1-3-1 at Wahoo. I can't recall if they ran that.
Once or twice, I think they ran it.
Hey, it's been a little bit of heaven, I can tell you that, man. I could talk to you all day, Zach. Coach Foster, till we're old friends. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you.
And by the way, I want to wake up tomorrow morning and look like Hyatt Collins. Anything in here that you've got that could help me?
I can look around. I'll try to find something. That guy's a dude.
All right, man. So we'll let you know at the next installment of In the Hoop. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Zac Foster for Carissa behind the camera. Bobby Mills for another In the Hoops episode. We'll catch you down the road.